Hey guys, JC Parets here, All-Star Charts. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Sean McLaughlin. Sean, we got an options trade to put on today, and it's very nice. I'm going to bring this up right now.
Yeah, a little Micron technology. It's just a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen, just a coincidence that it looks like Omicron. Let's not all get excited here. We're not the conspiracy theorist crowd. But we do like this stock, JC. That the team put out the report last week, the under the hood report. Micron was in there. We were waiting to see it trade above 97.50. It happened today, JC, but we got to do a little disclaimer. I mean, the market has gotten a little slippery in the last hour since the Fed minutes came out. Micron is down below our initial trigger. But, we still like the trade. The stock has shown its hand, so to speak. And if the market recovers, which I don't know, I think it will. I don't know about you, JC, but I think the market over the next week or so is going to find its footing and do what it needs to do higher. And Micron's going to be one of those leaders. Would you say? Would you agree?
I think there's gonna be ebbs and flows, and if stocks are gonna go up, and this particular group is gonna go up, and these old tech stocks that have been doing well, things like Qualcomm and Dell. I mean, just the names that we're talking about these days. Cisco.
Old school.
Right? We talked about Chevron earlier. We're talking about Toyota, Ford. I mean, just old school names. And listen, we've done well over the years, obviously, by participating in relative strength and looking for leaders, right? As we say, the only way to make sure you can buy the only way to make sure you own the strongest stocks is to buy the strongest stocks, right?
Something like that.
So on a more short-term basis, Nancy Pelosi YOLOing Micron over here. You can see the transactions. We track all of these filings, something internally. We've actually never shown this publicly, Sean, believe it or not. This is the inside scoop where we track all the Form 4, so we know what like the CEOs and the insiders are doing. They can legally trade with inside information. They're allowed to do that. It's just legal for them to do it as long as they file it. And then also the hedge fund filings, the 13Ds we like a lot, and then the House filings and the Senate filings. So we get all of these, and we're looking for, not when they're buying a couple of shekels, but when they're really stepping up. And Pelosi in their most recent filing, this was just over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, is Nancy Pelosi the greatest trader of our time? I mean, she's been killing it, right?
I think it's her husband. It's the husband, that's
is that it?
Is what I understand. I don't know. I'm like, this is hearsay. But needless to say, Pelosi's husband likes it, or Pelosi, or maybe together. Maybe it was a joint decision. Who knows? Nonetheless, we like, I was taught, Sean, we want to be buying smiley faces, selling the frowny faces, buying the frowny faces. Buying the smiley faces here. And, even I was like, Sean, what about a bull call spread on the MU? And you were like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Am I starting to be able to think through your head?
Yeah. Well, we chose the bull call spread because the options are a little juicy here. I think the secret's out that MU is setting up pretty well, and the options market makers are no dummies, and they're bidding the call options, the out of the money call options, a little higher than normal because of that, because of the upside risk as they might see it. So it didn't make sense to just buy calls here. I mean, it's not that couldn't win, JC. It's certainly possible, but I like improving our odds of success by using a bull call spread and selling those 125 calls against the 100 calls in June to reduce our total exposure. And to just give us a better chance of winning here. And we paid $6.50 for it earlier this morning when we put the trade on. You could definitely put that spread on for cheaper now if you're interested in it. But that's the trade we like. And the risk management level we're keeping an eye on is 92. If MU can't hold on to 92, that's going to be our signal to get out. We got some room there, so we're good. It doesn't show up on that chart. That's a very long-term chart you got there, JC.
It is, but it shows. I mean, it shows the point. And so I want to talk about this because think about it. With a base like this, as they say, and I like to also say, the bigger the base, the higher in space. So you got a lot of upside. But with a bull call spread, you're limiting that upside. So this long-term chart's a little disingenuous in the execution and the practicality side, but from the analysis side, I think it's appropriate. But you are increasing the probabilities of success by putting on that bull call spread and not having upside, unlimited upside, having a nice upside, but fixed. right?
Right, because here's what would have happened, JC. If we would have just bought long calls, the way I like to do it is I like to buy the 25 delta calls. For me, that's the right mix between affordability and leverage, right? And for me to buy the 120 or the 25 delta calls, that is the 125 strike. So if we were to do that, then Micron would have to trade up and above 125 for us to really begin to start making money. Whereas with this bull call spread where we bought the 100 calls and sold the 125 calls, Micron could go half of the way there. It can only go up to, like, say 115, and we're going to be in the money at that point, making money on the trade. So I just like that. It's early in the year. Anything can happen. We're bullish, certainly, and we think the markets are going to trend higher, but you never know. And boy, when you look at this long-term chart, JC, I mean, we're looking at highs that go back to the dot-com bubble. I mean, come on. If we break that, I mean, that is meaningful, my man.
Yeah. And you're seeing it in other stocks too that have broken out above those 2000 highs and what they've done afterwards. So just because we're putting on a bull call spread today doesn't mean that we can't do something else next month or in a few weeks or tomorrow, for all intents and purposes, on a longer term time frame with a different strategy as well. I also want to point out the relative strength, right? That's one of the things that we continue to point to. So it's not just that Pelosi is YOLOing these and it's showing up like on our scan of like important filings that we want to know who's buying what. By the way, Ford was popping off over the last couple, like 2 weeks ago. All of their top corporate execs were just loading up on Ford stock like 2 weeks before they dropped a major announcement. So there's really good information from here. Pelosi, obviously it's become like a meme and like a joke, just trade with Pelosi trades. And some people might not like the fact that, senators and representatives can trade stocks publicly, knowing that they have good information, but they are allowed. So, it's good information. We should probably use it.
Next to the insider buys of the the executives of a company, I mean, the next best people with the best information are politicians, whether you like it or not. So why don't we profit off it too?
Right, totally. And then also the hedge funds, when they're filing 13Ds, they're when Carl Icahn's loading up on something, he's in there. You know what he does. So he has and a lot of different, there's like a biotech firm, forget the name of it. Straz is always raving about him. Like, these guys crush it on the biotech side. So you want to know what biotech stocks they're buying. It's really fascinating. So let's just go over this once again. We're looking at a Micron June 100, 125 bull call spread. So it's a Micron MU June 100, 125 bull call spread. Sean, any final words on the risk management and process?
Yeah, so we're going to look to take the spread off for a profit if we can get $16 for it. So we paid $6.50, like I said before. If you were to buy it now, you can get it cheaper than what we paid for it. But my profit target is to get out at $16. So if I do that, that means I've captured more than 50% of the maximum possible credit we can receive in the trade without having to hold it all the way to June expiration, which I don't want to do if I can avoid it. And it also means that we've more than doubled our investment. So win-win all around. So that's the plan. We're going to try to get out at 16 for a profit. And then on the flip side, if the stock does not behave the way we want it to, if the market falls apart on us, whatever, it doesn't matter the reason. But if Micron can't hold on to the 92 level, that's the price that we will exit the trade and reassess from the sidelines.
All right, Shawnee, baby, always a pleasure. I like thinking through these things. We got a nice little bonus coming up tomorrow, maybe, on the option side, so keep an eye on that. We are buying a Micron June 100, 125 bull call spread for approximately a 6.5 debit. So, Sean, always a pleasure, buddy. Thanks, guys.
I like how you teased our hot trade for tomorrow, buddy. Good stuff.
Teasing it. We don't want to give it all away, just a little bit. There may or may not be something sexy popping off. We'll see what happens.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.